You enter this synthetic shell. Seal the barrier. The external frequency is muted. Activate the propulsion unit. They call it a mobility tool. They are incorrect. This is a temporal drain. Einstein would diagnose this perfectly. Space and time distorting when the chassis begins to move, navigating a dimension that only exists within this internal volume. Look at the wet pavement feeding beneath the chassis. Look how the optic beams stretch into strings, binding the discarded past to the unwritten future. If the velocity is sufficient, will I reach the unit I become tomorrow, or am I fleeing the unit I was yesterday? Let us analyze the physics of this enclosure. We have two primary sensors, the panoramic barrier and the rear reflection. The front display is the future devourer, feeding events at 80 kilometers per hour. That chromatic signal ahead is a variable. That biological unit crossing the grid is an impending collision. We drive with sensors locked on the future, calculating trajectories, predicting the erratic. And then the rear sensor, that small rectangle of dead data. Everything that passes is terminated. The street behind, the unit I bypassed, the error committed at the last vector. The grid demands you ignore the past to avoid crashing the present, but it persists in the peripheral sensor, a small reflection of everything we ceased to be. Now look at the adjacent lane, the blue unit impaneled, synchronized velocity. For 30 seconds we share a fragment of the system. Then the flow shifts. I accelerate. It remains. The universe has collapsed into the data morgue. How many units enter and exit our cycle exactly like this? We synchronize. We move together. The rhythm is identical. Then the relativity is cruel. A minor shift in acceleration and the abysm of kilometers opens. We race to reach the coordinates, but the destination is a ghost. Once you arrive, it becomes the current location. The loop resets. The anxiety seeks a new coordinate to hunt. It is like chasing the horizon or the glow of your own sensors. You illuminate the grid, but the light is always one step ahead, untouchable. Look at the console now. All these luminescence indicators, velocity, temperature, inventory of fuel, the vital constants of your small vessel. We trust these metrics more than our own intuition. We are urban astronauts floating in the vacuum between the station and the cell, between the obligation and the rest. The city is liquid, a blur of luminescence and shadow. Perhaps we are not moving through the grid. Perhaps the grid is passing through us, wearing us down as water wears the stone. Soon you will arrive. The cycle will terminate. You will enter a dark vector, decrease the velocity, deactivate the pulse. The time machine stops. The propulsion dies. The real silence of the system invades the chassis. You are no longer a traveler. You are just a biological unit in a synthetic seat. But for those minutes you were eternal. Kinetic energy, a line of light cutting the void. Einstein would understand. It was never about arriving. It is about the sensation that while we are in motion, we can flee anything, even ourselves. Breathe the filtered air.
Step onto the firm ground. Welcome back to the grid.